YouTube, what's up? How's everybody doing? It's your boy Dustin here, back with another video, and I am so pumped to be back just in this space right here with you all. Man, I gotta tell you, I gotta be honest with you, ladies and gents. The way the world is now, you're often surrounded by people who are just pressure, right? You know, that is the word I would describe certain a specific type of group of people who put pressures on you. They're just pressure, right? You know, they stress you out. And boy, is it just a reminder of, you know, how much we really need to sit down, stop, and think about, okay, we need to figure out what it is, you and I, whether it's quiet time, whether it's a music artist, whether it's reading, writing, whether it's our side hustle, an LLC, or 9 to 5, doesn't matter what it is, something to keep us busy, right? And, you know, just even surrounding ourselves with the right people, positive people, wow, makes a world of difference. Even in a negative situation, you're surrounding yourself with positive people, so you have a positive mindset as well to help you carry through. Now, regardless of who's around or what's going on, you have to keep that positive mindset. That is the ultimate goal in this mindset shift era that we're trying to push towards, okay? So, but I'm telling you, there's just going to be people out there who are pressure. And that's all they're ever going to be. It's all they're ever going to want to do is pressure people, because maybe they feel down about themselves or insecure about themselves. So they're going to put that pressure on somebody else. Give you an example. This morning, I was in a tough situation. Everything ended up working out. It was a combination of, you know, of course, God delivering his promises, and then me being in a positive mood, maintaining that, responding to people in a positive way. Remember, even if you're getting negative feedback, try and remain positive. That is going to be your response. Sometimes those people, places, things, whatever, they're going to ignore you, but you have to give yourself the credit. You have to zero in, bullseye in on the goal. You have to set small goals, meet those goals. You're going to feel good about yourself in return, but you feel so much more rewarded at the end of the day, because you knew you had a great attitude. Your mental was in a positive place. You chose to remain consistent, knew God had a plan. God's plan was unfolding. It did unfold. And your day is just much better. I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys, okay? That's just a little piece of it. I wanted to just explain here what was running through my mind. So there were things, people, experiences in years past that put me in position to be in a position of focus. Of course, it was easier back then. I didn't have the responsibilities. I didn't have as much on my plate as I do now. I wasn't dealing with a bad economy. That was before the economy had shut down. So you got to think, or was in process of shutting down. You know, you got to think of the position you were in years past. You have to think of where you were back then and how far you've come. Because you're winning because you have to deal with things you've never dealt with before these days that you didn't have to back then. So you're already pushing through. You see that. You see how far you've come. That alone makes you not only profitable for the journey, you're going to profit at the end of this journey, and it makes you guaranteed to succeed. I can tell you, because you know there was this quote. There were several quotes I read in the days past here from Abraham Lincoln. Essentially, what he was saying and what he emphasized was try and try and try again, keep failing, and that makes you successful. Keep failing until you achieve what you want to achieve. If you tried and you gave it everything you had and you consistently tried, you were successful. That's a great quote. But at the same time, there's a fine line there, because some people will say the definition of insanity, which is true, is doing the same thing over and over again, I guess failing and expecting a different result, or doing something over and over again, you're trying, it's not working out, and then you expect a different result in the future. There's a fine line there, but you have to gauge, if you're doing it for your dream, obviously, like, it's going to be different. So, like, let's say you don't ever want to clean your room. Well, the insanity thing would come into play. The insanity definition would come into play if you said, hey, I never want to clean my room, and I just don't want to clean it ever. It's never going to get cleaned, but I'm expecting at some point in the future, I'm expecting something positive to come of that, maybe. I'm expecting my room to clean itself, or I'm expecting my room to be clean at some point. And you keep trying this method of never cleaning it. Well, of course, that's insanity, because it's never going to get done. But in the medical field, there's a fine line as well, because doctors will tell you, okay, we've got to make a shift here. These are the things you need to start working on as my patient. These are the things that you have to pay attention to. Genius idea. I'm so glad doctors tell you that, because that insanity definition does come into play there. But we have to shift away from that when it comes to our mission and the person we're trying to become. So here's the deal. Back then, the person that I wanted to become, the person that I was using different experiences back then. Let's say in 2015, right? Than I was now to really push who I was, who I wanted to be. I remember, because I just sent one of my homies, I just sent him, ladies and gentlemen, you can take this as you will, I'm just talking to you right now, but I just sent him a song, right? This song, like, got me through the times back in, I'm talking 2019, like 2018, 2017. I was like pushing this album, this music. Okay, and at the time, it was a Tory Lanez track or something. At that time, I was just locked in. You know what I mean? And I kept playing it. And at that time, that masterpiece got me through what I needed it to, because I wanted people to understand me from a different standpoint. I wanted to become that rapper, become that ideal type, because I made a bridge connection with Tory at that point. Therefore I connected through his music. Lost my mom at a young age. She was sick. And I knew it was my duty. It was my mission to complete the mission of becoming the person I wanted to be. yeah, this is for my mom. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But now, bless my mom in her life. Now that mission we accomplished and great things came of it. But now the mission ahead is it's so much bigger, guys. It's bigger than I ever could have dreamed. I mean, it would be, it's tough. It's complex. It's mesmerizing how much effort it takes to complete this new mission I'm on. It's the mission of hanging in there, surviving ultimately surviving the life you want to live, right? Because in order to move past that goal that I set, when I listen to that track and all, I I had already completed that goal, and I was just pushing and pushing and pushing for nothing. I didn't. I was just banking all my money. There was no end goal. I just spent money the way I wanted to. I just did what I wanted to, and now I'm having trouble achieving like this bigger goal that I have now, which is just even surviving. These days, it's so much more has happened in between that time period, and it's just really taken a toll on me, and really chose me to focus on, okay, what is really important. Can we really survive when we have nothing? And I think the whole mentality was, yeah, I came from nothing, I built this, I built that. But for me, that was a high bar at the time, but it was never intended to be something where, and now remember, I'm talking back then, not now, because now it's coming from a selfless standpoint. I'm trying to bless others with my story, with God's word, if I can, with the mission, with whatever I'm doing. So if I'm listening to Tori today, it's for such a bigger purpose than just, okay, if my mom was still here, I want her to see this. And then I realized she does see that. I did achieve that. So now that I made something of myself, there are different things that I felt like I wanted to achieve to remain good enough, or whatever it is. But it's so much bigger than that, because if you remain in a space where you're always good enough, every day is a good day, you're positive, okay, it's like, wow, now you're equipped with all the tools you need, you've got it in you, now you actually have to put in the work and achieve all God has, walk the walk that God has set out for you to walk. If I'm not going to speak for Tori, but if, let's just say that his time in prison from shooting Megan Thee Stallion, because that's how, that's what he's serving right now. Potentially, what is it, a 15, 20-year sentence. I think it's 15. Could be wrong. If that 15 or that 20 years is what Tori needs to get where he needs to be, whether it's in his mindset, whether it's, he comes out and he's got some sort of freedom again, and then he starts something else. Maybe that's where he needs to be, coming out the other side in a positive space. Maybe that he needed that experience to kind of push him forward. But you see, when Tori was thriving, I felt I was in lack at that time. I was building something, and it was so incredible, because it was like a rundown house that needed to be completely gutted and redone. That's the foundation that my life was on at that point. And I had this hurt in my heart. I was like, man, my mom passed, and I need to get over this. So I needed a cover. I needed to become somebody first I wanted people to see, okay, I'm this person. This is who I am on paper, and there's skill, there's lyrics behind it. I was writing lyrics every day. I was recording raps. I was doing battles with my friends. But so fast forward, so we've paid Tori that credit. I feel like, okay, Tori, we know where you came from. You're the real deal. We get it. But there's, like I said, there's a new mission now. So, but at that time, something so small was the mission I needed to achieve. And if I achieved it and I became somebody, then, big things were going to grow out of that. And then I started shifting who I was again. I went back inside and made some changes, and a lot of that was I looked good on paper, but I didn't do the inner work. And I think now I'm doing the inner work. Now I'm not focused as much on material or this or that. I'm trusting God, no matter what phase I'm in, no matter what I'm experiencing at the time. But I'm utilizing the resources around me. I'm asking people. I'm praying to God. The whole goal now for me is to bridge the physical and the spiritual, but balance the two. And that is where the blessing comes in for me right now. That is, even when nothing's going right, I think that is just, it's a game changer. But and people will go as far and say things like, yeah, well, no, you're married, marriage is tough. It's like, yeah, marriage is tough, but see, I know what it's like. Trust me, I am somebody, if y'all on this channel want me to be a diehard fan for you, I'm your guy. I will definitely back you up till the end. I'm the type of person, even if you stab me in the back a couple times and I forgive you, even if we end up parting ways in the future, no matter who you are, I'm still going to be up front, before any of that, your biggest fan. So, so tying that into a relationship, a marriage, it's pretty much in me. It's in my blood to be a ride or die for somebody, really take care of them, really support them, really be about it on a daily basis. I'm talking every day. But I've had to learn to adapt, become the type of person that even when things aren't the way I want them in my life right now, I'm saying to myself, okay, let me use this as an opportunity, to lay some groundwork, to plow the fields, so to speak. What do I mean? What do you mean, Dustin? When I say that, we're talking clean slate. So let me use this as the opportunity to not only make a difference in my life, figure out who I want to become in that moment, or what God's plan is, but how can I change the lives of other people around me in small ways? It doesn't have to be a big way. People will slowly start to notice, wow, I noticed talking to you, I had a good experience the other day. Wow, you're super positive. Wow, this conversation we had the other day really went well. Wow, we had some good talks. That's because you're in a good space to where you can connect with those people on the level that they need at the time. And there were times in the past where my conversations were negative because I chose to let what I was going through at the time affect my conversations with people in that moment. That's the thing. It's got nothing to do with it. Your job is so much bigger than that. You're called to love, to help others, to do what you can to make an impact. Now, don't let people walk all over you. Don't let people abuse being able to see into your life, what you're up to, this and that. But also don't care what they think. But don't let them abuse that to the point where it's just like they're just there and they don't care about you and they only want to be there for you when it's convenient for them. Forget about those people. They're not worth your time. Don't give them access. Cut them off. We ain't doing that around here. But yeah, so laying the groundwork for being somebody who's positive. Like for me, for example, like I'm out in the country now. Used to be more city. See, when I interact with people, whether it's the job or whether it's outside of like the area I live, whether it's, I'm traveling, it's very easy for me to be in that positive space because I'm protecting my peace out here. When I'm making bread, I'm in the city. I'm out there for the most part, getting the hustle on. I get it. You got to be locked in. You got to stay positive, optimistic that things are going to work out for the better and work with what you have. You can't work with what you don't have because you don't have it. So you try, and you try again until you become that person you want to be. But I'm telling you, I would give anything just for a day of the week. I'm so busy right now that it's debatable if I can do it. But to become that 2017 me again. And I think sometimes we need those days. Just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm in the process. I'm locked in with God. But I'm going to pick a random Wednesday and be who I want to be in the moment, what feels good, and just don't worry about life. Let things take care of themselves. It was incredible because I never met the people that would have connected with the 2017 me until 2023, 2022. I was like, wow, where were you back then? Because it's crazy how you make those connections like later on. It just blows my mind. But I'm telling you, it's all about the energy you put out there. But I've given a lot of people like very limited access in my life now. And I recommend you do this. You try it. When you've been burned enough, you'll learn how to do it. I have given so few people access in my life right now that I'm just all around happier. And then the people that I see that are completely miserable, I completely make their day and like blow their mind with that. And it's not about me. It's not about me and what I'm doing and the impact that I'm making. That's not what this is about. It's not about me. Okay, it's about the Creator. It's about God and His plan. I'm giving the credit to God on this one, in everything, in all things. Okay, even the trials, the tribulations, the things we go through that get us to where we need to be in our lives, the struggles, they make us who we need to be. What else? I'm pulling in right now. So you guys get it. You'll begin to understand. You'll see people who are dealing with things, and you'll get this desire to make their day. And I promise you, when you do that, great things are going to happen for you. That good energy is going to come back to you. Don't expect a reward. Never expect anything out of anybody. And you'll be much happier. It's going to make a huge difference in your life. You're going to be all around more optimistic that you're like, okay, I'm going to create the energy that I create and I have control of that. So at the end of the day, I'm happier because I made the energy, I put out the energy I wanted to put out. It was good energy. I did a great thing with my day, and I'm positive, remaining positive. But you will have pressure. You will have those people that come in. Remember, pressure will be there. It's tough. It's tough to have that around you, but that can't be your final answer. You know, it's in these quiet times, this free time where you need to lock in to who you really are, who you want to become. Make those decisions and become who you need to be. But I was telling my buddy, I sent it to him because I don't know what he's got going on now, but I'm like, dude, this was the 2017 me. Boom. Sent it off to him, and it was like 2 songs from Tori, and I was like, boom, man. This was like this was what was up for me in 2017. I was so locked into that purpose of, you know, I got to do this for mom, and you know, I got to push, push. But it was good because it put me in a place where I achieved so much in my life. I didn't listen to what anybody said, and then I just obtained it all, and then I just didn't even focus on it. Like I didn't even care that I obtained it. That's how locked in I was. I didn't even care about things or, you know, places or, you know, what I was going to do that day. I was just like so locked into my mission. I wanted to do it. And I want to be that locked in again, no matter what's going on. But now I'm going to do it for a different cause, you know, being positive, making an impact on people, a positive one. Yeah. So I love you all. I dropped some dimes in this video. I didn't think it was going to be this good, but look, I'm in between work here, and I had to go to the doctor's this morning, and I just want to tell you, today was a great experience. So if you have a positive mindset, keep that. Don't lose it. And if you find yourself in a busy phase where you're like, look, I'm doing nothing but working hours and hours and hours, stay locked in. I know it's exhausting. I promise you, maintain a positive attitude, get plenty of rest, make sure you feed yourselves, drink lots of water, take care of your health, go to the doctor, listen to your doctor, and make sure that you're taking care of your mental and everything else you need to. Okay? Fold this up, put it in the envelope, put a stamp on it, mail this out in your lives, and wait. Just wait. Wait till you see yourself become the person that you desire to be. You know, God's got great plans for your lives, and I love you, ladies and gents. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.